Okay, so I think we can start now. So hello everybody. Welcome to our roundtable about eco-design, and it is powered by EY. Thank you for joining us. In 45 minutes, we will look at how you can start or pursue your journey to transform your product portfolio to be people and planet friendly. So to do that, we have some high-level speakers who are high experience on the matter. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. So let me introduce them briefly to you. So Claire Bottino from BIC, who is a Sustainable Development Director. Eric Munier, who is a partner at EY in the Sustainable Performance and Transformation Department. Clémence Gosset, Head of Corporate Responsibility Consumer Information at L'Oréal. As you can see or hear right now, Clémence will be broadcasting live by video during this session. And Pascal Eveillard, Sustainable Business Development Director at SaintGobain. And myself, Lénaïque Pinault, I'm a Senior Manager at EY in the same department as Eric Munier. Just a few words about EY. I'm sure you know us for our audit and financial services, but we are so much more. We are also a consulting firm, and for more than 20 years now, we have a team dedicated to sustainability, and we are more than 100 consultants in France taking care of this matter, and we are helping all our clients from public and private sector into their transformation journey towards a more sustainable performance. So our guest will answer my question, and I apologize already because I don't think that we will have enough time to take some questions from the public, but please feel free to come to us afterwards to continue the conversation. So now that we have introduced ourselves, what I would like to start on is why eco-design is important. Because expectations from customers and investors are evolving, and more we see sustainability as one element used to measure companies' competitiveness and also companies' brands and products value. And consumers expect more from brands, and sustainability is adding to the existing criteria to the current decision-making process. And at EY, we have a great study to foresee tomorrow's consumers' expectations. And I would like to share with you just a few relevant insights, but of course there is so much more, and you can find out on the website if you go to Google and search for EY Future Consumer Now Index survey. So in 2020, almost every consumer expects greater involvement of brands in their social responsibility, and more than 50% of consumers would like brands to ensure that they are doing good for society. However, a certain mistrust still appears among consumers regarding the positive impact generated by brands and the sufficiency of their actions. And in order to reassure consumers, it is essential for brands to clearly communicate into their CSR strategy, and at the brand level and not only at the corporate level. And consumers have high expectations in terms of transparency and communication about the impact of their products on their health and on the environment. So it's time for action, and eco-design can be part of the solution. So now I would like to ask a question to Eric as an expert. Maybe can you explain us in a few words, what does eco-design mean to you?
Thank you, Lénaïque. Well, I'll have my own definition of eco-design, of course. For me, it's about embedding sustainability into the job of the everyday job of not only the designers and the researchers, but also the marketers, the procurement department, the operations. So it's not something technical. Eco-design is not about technique. Of course, there's some technical issues, but it's about transforming the everyday job to embed sustainability. So it means also it's not a niche approach. It's not about changing one or two products. It's really about changing the whole portfolio of your company. So it's a systemic approach. It's not about LCA. It's not only about environmental issues. Eco-design, even though there's the eco name, but eco-design is really, for me, about eco-innovation and integrating social, environmental issues in the product development. And of course, it integrates the whole life cycle of products. So you have to look at what's happening on the raw material side, as well as on the end of life of your products or services, to really have something comprehensive.
Thank you, Eric, for sharing this point of view. And now I would like to hear more about our guest story. So at the beginning, what were the drivers for change? Why did you decide to adopt this kind of project at L'Oréal? Clémence, can you help us on that? Can you share your vision, please?
Yes, I tried to jump in. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, and I think we will see you.
And we see you.
Yes, good.
Okay, great. Actually, we started our journey a long time ago in 2005, starting with the manufacturing field first, and also the research and innovation, like the development of green chemistry. But really, in the first sustainable program that has been set was in 2013. We did set ourselves ambitious targets, like progress targets, like reducing our carbon footprint. For instance, the carbon footprint of the company has dropped 78%, and in the meantime, in absolute value, and in the meantime, the volume rose by 37%. And at that time, the key objective was really to progress at every stage of our value chain. So as Eric puts it, this started a process of a transformation process with, among many things, one thing that has been really key is the development of a tool called the Sustainable Product Optimization Tool, to be able to know what is the impact of our product, environmental and social impact, and to be able to progress, to be able to commit that any new or renovated product would improve its environmental or social impact. But now things have changed. What the world needs is no longer progress. Progress is not enough. Yes, the world needs progress, but progress about the impact is not enough. And what the world needs is that every organization acts within the limits of what is possible, the limits of the planetary boundaries, so that collectively we stay below the 1.5 degree of global warming. So this vision has been guiding the target of the L'Oréal for the Future product program, the product that we have just launched, and that sets the targets for 2030. And in that perspective, eco-design has changed. What matters now is not only to improve the impact of products, it's just one part of the program, but what matters is that we give the means to consumers to be informed and to choose the product that is the best for the planet, so that we accelerate the efforts. So every information we have now about the impact of our products will become visible to consumers, starting with the hair products, in France that have been released. So this is really a new vision of a new journey. We are tackling not only our emissions, but also we are welcoming and committing our whole ecosystem and community to get better results, and so that we can stay until below the 1.5 degree trajectory.
Sure.
So including the ecosystem is really the big move.
Okay. And what's about SaintGobain? Can you share your story, Pascal?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. So in SaintGobain, we don't talk about eco-design, we call it eco-innovation. And so in terms of definition, it's very much aligned with what has been said so far. So it's about reducing impacts on health and the environment and delivering sustainability benefits to our customers with a full life cycle approach. The journey started in 2010 for us. In 2010, we started to reflect on what would be the main changes on the construction market, and we wondered whether sustainability would be a major growth opportunity for SaintGobain. The conclusion was yes, and we decided to set up a strategy in 2 pillars. The first one was to accelerate the market transformation towards more sustainability, towards more sustainable construction. So to be an active player in changing the game on the market, and in parallel to develop more and more sustainable solutions for our customers. To deliver on this second pillar of being able to deliver more sustainable solutions, we started our journey in 2013 with a toolbox. So it was a very basic approach to eco-innovation, a toolbox and a process and a training for our innovation teams to use the toolbox and the process. It was quite basic, and it applied only to a limited number of projects. So it was, in that time, the idea was not to have it for all and every innovation or new projects, but for only a selected number of projects. In 2016, we decided to refine our definition for sustainable products, to be more precise and to have some key indicators for measuring sustainability. And this is when we started to work with EY to develop a scorecard and a tool that we call SCORE, that we have started to roll out across the organization from 2017. Last year was a further step in our approach. We took the opportunity of a deep work on the redefinition of the innovation process in Saint-Gobain to mainstream sustainability into this process. So this is quite a change from eco-innovation by exception to mainstreaming sustainability in innovation. And we decided to do so for 2 reasons. Because we think that the market has become much more mature, and the expectations from customers are clearly more strong today than they were before in terms of sustainability. And second, our internal organization was also mature enough to accept to switch. So I think it's also important in this journey. It's not just a matter of customers' expectation, it's also a matter of maturity of organizations to be able to tackle such change, because it's quite a change. We will come back probably on that, but it's a major change in the organization. And it's also important for us to have sustainability mainstream in innovation, because we like L'Oréal, we noticed that sustainability has become something key for companies like Saint-Gobain. We have committed to carbon neutrality to 2050. We are taking, or we will announce very soon, further major objectives for 2030 in terms of circularity, in terms of health, in terms of carbon. And clearly, if we want to deliver, we need to mainstream sustainability in our innovation process.
Yeah, sure. I think it's not only about consumer, and a makeover of the communication won't be enough to convince them. A background work has to be done to genuinely offer eco-design products and packaging. And I found a lot of similarities in Saint-Gobain's story, and I think with BIC. And I would love to hear your story as well, Claire.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Linnaeus. So BIC started its journey on by life cycle analysis, really by environmental footprint more than 15 years ago. And what we really learned from this experience was assessment is nice, but you have really to take into account the environmental impact since the beginning. And not only the environmental impact, but also the social impact. So back in 2017, when we started working on our new Sustainable Development Commitment program, we were very aligned with the Executive Committee to drive sustainable innovation in our product. And not only for new product, but also for the existing portfolio. And we committed to writing the future together, our commitment program, to really improve the environmental and social footprint of our product. And to do so, it's exactly like SaintGobain and L'Oréal, we built a scorecard. We decided to go for that because it's really a science-based approach. You are using science, you're using indicators covering different dimensions, so far as environment and social, to really go into deeper, score each of your product and make sure you're improving. And you can see where you stand at any moment, how your improvement, how your whole portfolio is getting better, yes or no. And it's a good point to be that fact-based to make sure you're always heading in the right direction. And so I think it's really a nice and powerful tool to have.
And maybe can you explain us who was involved and what was the process?
Yeah, sure. So the process, we had 3 major steps, I'll say. First one was really about defining what were the indicators we were going to take. So we wanted to have environmental and social. So for example, for social, it's how you're going to empower your consumer. Environment is going to be which material you're going to choose. Is it going to be recycled, alternative? How much weight do you have, and so on. So that's really about the indicators. The first part is really about deciding what you're going to assess. Second step is about having a nice web IT tool, because you definitely want something user-friendly. You want your team to use it. You want your team to be engaged, to be enthusiastic about using your scorecard tool. And next step, I think, is about expanding. So we were speaking about extending to new topics, to new sectors. So at BIC, we're right now extending to new products, but also to packaging side. We focus on a first-time to product. But based on the knowledge we get, we can go further. And coming to your point about who need to be involved, I think it's really one of the key success factors we had in the project we did with you. So BIC is very different. It's very complex. We have 3 different types of products, shaver, stationery, and lighter, with 3 different stakes. And we decided we wanted just one tool for different products with different stakes. So we involved everyone for each category along the project development process. So research and innovation, marketing, sustainability, obviously, but also procurement, manufacturing, IT, legal. I'm sure it's the same for SaintGobain and L'Oréal, but it's really about having everybody around the table that is really making the difference. Because at the end of the day, these people, they really find the tool, they recognize themselves in the tool, and they are really willing to use it on a daily basis. So I think it's really how I see the thing.
And to build on what you have said, Claire, Eric, and I think what could be interesting is that if someone in the room would like to start their journey or pursue it, what would you recommend to pull this project out of the CSR department? How to create a momentum for change?
I would say the first thing is to what we said, to establish the business case of eco-design, of product scorecard. So it's really demonstrating that it will bring value. Maybe we'll come later to what is the value and what are the benefits, but that's a step that's usually not done well enough. But this is necessary to have the second, I think, key thing is having the commitment of the top management. And so I think in all the programs we did with L'Oréal, with the Spot, with BIC, SaintGobain and others, we always had a commitment, strong commitment. Sometimes quantitative, like L'Oréal and BIC, who said, I want 100% of my products to be improved by 2025 or 2020 for L'Oréal. But it's still a strong commitment. So I think it's having the business case, having a strong commitment, then or to have all the functions around the table is key. And the first one is the client. I would say marketing or sales have to be involved, because you asked a question about what is eco-design. It's of course addressing the real impacts, but it's also addressing the perceived impacts for the clients. Because if they believe that packaging is the key impact, and in fact, the LCAs demonstrate that it's not the packaging, but if you don't address packaging, then the customers will believe that it's all a fake, whereas it's addressing the real one. So always have to balance the real and the perceived impacts doing the... So to do that, you have to involve marketing, sales, and basically put all the people around the table. And I think to keep the momentum, you have to make it collaborative. Because in the end, the scorecards that we developed, they're all simplifying the sustainability assessment. And so to make sure that everybody agrees on the results of these scorecards, of this assessment, which is more simple than reality, people have to understand what's inside and why this or that result comes out. So to make sure that they all agree, you have to make them work on it. So it has to be collaborative. And probably the last point is it takes time. So because it has to be iterative. Because once you want to do, you want to model the impact of your products, you want this modeling or this assessment to give some, I would say, results that make sense, and don't want to be totally the opposite from what the results you usually had. So you had to test your methodology, do some pilots, come back, change the indicators, change the weight of each indicators, add some new ones. Maybe you're going to realize that some are redundant. So it has to be iterative. So in the end, you really trust, all the company trusts the results, and then it can be used by all the people who have to use it.
Sure, it takes time, and I think our guests are already quite mature in their transformation roadmap, so we can be a little bit more concrete now also on the results you can get. So I would like to hear about maybe the tangible example of what has changed into their company. So maybe I would like to hear a little bit more about SaintGobain, of what has changed maybe in terms of process within your organization.
Yes, maybe before I answer to your question, to the previous question, I think what is also important is not just to define the tool or the methodology. It's also how you will implement it and roll it across your organization. And this can take time. So in SaintGobain, we have lots of different businesses. We have lots of different countries in which we are active. And rolling out eco-innovation in insulation in South Africa is clearly something completely different from rolling out the same methodology for gypsum activity in Nordic countries. So we need also to take into account how mature the countries are, how mature the markets and organizations are to understand and to apply properly such methodologies. It's quite a cultural shift. And the cultural shift doesn't happen by itself. It's not just we want you to move from tomorrow. It's a bit more complex. So you need to lead by example. You need to test and try. You need to demonstrate that it is valid. And you need also to accept that the V1 of your methodology will have to be improved, and possibly you will have to work out a V2 and maybe a V3 of your methodology. So it takes time. So in SaintGobain, we launched the V1 3 years ago. And we know that next year we need to work on the V2, because from the experience we have, we need to simplify the tool. We need to change some criteria. So, and this can come only by doing. And even if the process of definition of the tool was highly participative, it was not enough to be perfect from the first time. Coming back to what has changed, I think what has changed is the vision of innovation. For people. So innovation, well, for SaintGobain, who used to be a company led by engineers with some techno push, the first revolution some years ago was to have a more marketing-based approach, so to start considering marketing as a valid input into innovation. And this is an additional layer, so not just marketing, but also sustainability into marketing. So I think we moved from considering only technical performances and economic parameters to also incorporate sustainability criteria. So it was something quite massive. It was also a new way of dealing between marketing and R&D. So it, and especially in the definition of the book of specification, we noticed that eco-innovation was a unique opportunity to enter into a new dialogue and to get a really innovative way of defining the specification for a new project. And what we noticed also was a real benefit in terms of ideation. So bringing new ideas was very much influenced by this process. So it opened really new area of creativity, and we saw a big motivation of people to get involved into creativity sessions powered by sustainability topics.
Okay, and you talk a lot about marketing, and I think it's also very linked to product. So I think Clémence, maybe you can share with us what has changed at a product level, because you have some great communication going on about your project called Spot, and I would love to hear more about your story.
Yes, so first of all, I totally agree what was said by with the big and SaintGobain examples, with the testimonials of Claire and we. So before jumping on the products examples and examples of how an eco-design product look like, I insist on the fact that it's really not about seizing a new trend, and it's really a very deep transformation of the way products are invented, developed. Would it be incremental innovation or breakthrough innovation? It is really like Intel inside. It is really eco-design inside. And to make it happen, I agree, it needed a very strong will from the top, with also a shared vision first, but also processes. And you know, when if you renovate at L'Oréal, if you renovate a product from 2017, if you renovate a product or you develop a new product, you cannot launch if the product impact, environmental and social impact, is not improved compared to the former one. So, and then you need a derogation, you need an exception, signature is very complex, and this allows to achieve 85% of progress on all products. So now if we come to examples, actually 85% of our new and renovated products are improved. And sometimes it's spectacular, sometimes it is not, but it is worse. I can give you an example of a product that has been very well designed on each component of eco-design. The formula, the pack, the social. It's Kiehl's shower gel made. The name is Made Better. And there is a 100% biodegradable formula. The formula is 95% made of sustainable ingredients, and packaging is 100% post-recycling, made of post-recycled plastic, and then inclusive suppliers have contributed to the product. From Mexico for the aloe vera, etc., etc. So this is the good example when the research and innovation teams, marketing teams, and also packaging teams work together and activate each lever, each component of the impact. This is not only necessarily spectacular. On the other side, there are also blatant eco-conceived products, and we have very, very high targets about to work on a refillable product like, Extrait de Vie from Lancôme that has just been launched with a refill, which is not very, very widespread in luxury, and this allows to cut by 50% the carbon footprint of the whole product. We will see soon a Garnier Solid shampoo. I think you didn't miss the green beauty commitments from Garnier. We have also some breakthrough innovation coming on the packaging with a paper bottle to come at Lipika from La Roche-Posay. And you can go further with even more breakthrough innovation, not concerning only the products, but also the whole use phase. You know that the use phase by the consumer accounts for more than half of a product's environmental and social environmental footprint, and it is up to 70%. Sorry, when it comes to rinse stop products. To work on that field and to improve the impact of the use phase of our consumers, we are also innovating with a startup called Gyoza that has invented with us, and we are working on how to apply it, with our brands, a technology that is able to cut the water, to cut when you rinse your hair, you cut the water into very, very small drops, and it allows to divide by 8 the amount of water that is needed. So this is huge. This will have a huge impact on the impact of the professional products, the products that are used in hair salon. So this is to show that some examples will be very exemplary and talkative for the customers, but this is not preventing the teams from doing the everyday job on every part of the product, the formula, the packaging, the manufacturing part of the life product cycle. And what is really accelerating, and I'm happy to share that with you, what is really accelerating the innovation is when the efforts you make become visible for the consumers with transparent information of the impact labeling, with the score like A, B, C, D, E. Then I can tell you the teams, the marketing teams, they don't want their product to be D or E, and they work very hard with the whole ecosystem inside the company to improve them, to renovate them, and to get them better. So transparency is really a great accelerator, not only because we commit with our consumers, and so that consumers can do ethical choices or choices that are in phase with their values, but also because there is an internal accelerator.
Great. So I think we have touching a little bit this question already, and we have seen quite a lot of key benefits through this approach. So maybe I would like Eric to complete it, because I know that he has helped so many companies. So maybe he can add on that and share other key benefits.
Well, I think, a lot have been mentioned already. I think if we consider the three stakeholders, the company, the clients, and the planet or the society, I would say that for the company, it's to make it short, it's about business resilience. It's about really preparing for the future by innovating, as Pascal said. And it's also about employee engagement, because we had, in all the projects we did together, we had no problem motivating the people to collaborate and to come to the workshops. So there's really a passion for that. So I think it's employee engagement and also cross-fertilization, because you have to break the silos, you have to make people talk together that usually don't talk together. Marketing, procurement, R&D, so logistics. So all these people have to talk together, and this brings value for the company. And of course, customer loyalty, because once you, as Clément says, once you are more transparent and you bring data and information, then you generate trust, and so you generate loyalty. As for clients, the benefit for clients, I think it's once, like L'Oréal did already, which is really to go to the clients with some information, you empower them, because you explain to them what they can do to reduce the impact. Well, you can buy this product rather than this one, but also you can explain why you should use less water, etc. So empowerment, and of course, again, it's about trust, because once you get this information, you trust the products and you trust your brand much more. And finally, for society at large and planet, I think all these transformational projects, they really touch the core of the company, which is their products and their services. And that's where the levers for reducing the negative impacts and increasing the positive impacts is the strongest. So I think that's a real, very strong benefit, because these projects are worldwide for society at large, socially, environmentally, much more than just touching on the manufacturing part.
So maybe one last question, because 45 minutes is really too short to talk about eco-design. And what can be interesting to know is how you can keep the momentum. How can you ensure that your approach will last and will be seen and understood by consumers? We have already a little bit talked about it, but I think we can learn a little bit more about L'Oréal. And Clémence, can you explain us how you have done that in L'Oréal, or are you still doing it actually?
Yeah, actually, we started with the journey, and now it is the attention paid to the product impact and the way we innovate has become organic. It's now part of the way we operate, and I must say the teams. There are many benefits, because the teams feel very proud of being part of this adventure. I remember, just to give an example, you know, when maybe you have seen this project, the sun product from Biotherm called Water Lovers. It started in the labs like 5 years ago with one objective, making the most eco-friendly sun product ever, without forgetting the consumer pleasure and all the what makes a product successful. And so it was like solving an equation. And this is really setting these kind of objectives push us to innovate differently with different criteria, and being really proud of innovating. So this project, as an example, has spread incredible good vibes into the company. And now I must tell you, I cannot see any brand that is not focused on committing more on the impact of its product, and also the social impact, with also being very careful of what it can give back to society. So I must tell you that this journey is really changing deeply the way people are linked and to the company, and the pleasure and the pride they have when they do their daily job. And we just have to go on. And the fact that now we go more public with releasing some more information, transparent information, science-based to consumer, this is really accelerating the trend, because what we have suffered sometimes in recent years is when you say something internally and then you have consumers saying or telling something different, or we say, oh, this we cannot communicate, this we can say. And it's really very comfortable to be transparent, because you know what you can say internally, you know that you can show to your friends how your products look like, and this is much more comfortable for employees to work with this kind of commitments.
Okay, and maybe one more vision, one more example at BIC. How do you keep the momentum?
So I think we're a little bit earlier in the process than L'Oréal or SaintGobain, but I think the momentum for us is more about internally, how do we keep the momentum. And we work, I think one of the key points is really to be aligned when you're building your scorecard with your company core value and your long-term strategy. So one of BIC's value is simplicity. So when we started working on scorecard, we say, okay, we have to have a tool that is simple. It was quite a challenge. But at the end of the day, we've got 8 indicators. It's rather simple, and we're good. It was also about having the long-term strategy regarding a product inside the scorecard. So BIC, regarding this product, we have a 4R philosophy, so it's really aligned with the circular economy. I'm sure you will all know. So first R is for reduce, so using as less material as possible, reuse, recycle, and alternative material, so as much as we can, obviously. Refillable product to extend the life of your product. And obviously recyclable, and here focusing not only on packaging, but also on the product itself. So we really wanted the tool to encompass our core values of simplicity and also this long-term approach. And by doing so, the team, they really see how they can change, how they can drive for innovation, how they can transform their whole portfolio. It's really super concrete for themselves. And by doing that, they really have the impression they can change, and they are really making the change happen. And I think the other point, we were kind of lucky at BIC, but we had it's leveraging any opportunity we have, basically. We had a transformation, and we were reviewing all the internal process we had regarding research and development. And so instead of adding eco-design on top of everything we had, we basically just put into it. So it's fully embedded. There is no difference. It's inside it, and you cannot remove it. If you remove it from the design process, then you're not designing any new product. And I think it's really things that are going to keep the momentum for a long time, or hopefully at least.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And maybe one last point from Pascal. Do you want to share maybe one key success factor or an advice or for the team?
We'll try to be short. Well, an advice. I think it's today it's eco-innovation or eco-innovating is not a nice to have. It's a must-have. We have seen the impact on the young generation in Saint-Gobain, clearly in terms of motivation, in terms of attracting talent or even retaining talent. Being focused on eco-innovation was clearly something making the difference for lots of researchers in Saint-Gobain, for lots of new people who joined the company in the recent years. So we have no choice but to continue. But how to continue successfully, I think what was explained by L'Oréal is key. At some stage, you need to make it very visible to your customers. So it's clearly the next step for us, how to make it more visible and easy to understand to our customers, whatever the customers. The difficulty we have in Saint-Gobain is that our customers are very, very various. So it's not just the installer, it's also the distributor, it's the architect, it's the specifier, the investor. So we need to be able to find a system that will talk to all those different publics. And simplicity that was evoked by BIC, I think it's key. So we tried to develop a tool that was not too complex, but even if we tried so, it is still too complex. So I think at some stage, you need to make some cuts, just not to stick to the best possible reality, but to make it really simple to use and to make it accessible to all. So this is the second challenge we have, beside communication, to work on this next generation, very simple and very aligned with the company, the corporate CSR objectives. I think we have also made lots of progress over the last 2 years. It's much easier today to talk of sustainability as it was 2 or 3 years ago. So we need to capture what we have learned internally, globally, in terms of challenges, in terms of vision, in terms of ambitions, and to have it incorporated into our approach with this idea to make it even more straight and simpler.
So to conclude, because I think I'm running out of time, so in a nutshell, what we have seen is the importance of a good governance that includes all the departments of the company, the need to be clear on definition, what is a sustainable product for your company, it should be specific, agreeing on no more than 10 criteria to demonstrate the product's social or environmental impacts, to keep it simple and reliable. And get a reward. On one hand, incentivize your team, and on the other hand, transform your CSR criteria into a competitive advantage by communicating your CSR product benefits. Because clearly, advertising needs to evolve, and eco-innovation is a very powerful lever to feed the claims, value the positive brand impacts on society and the environment, and provide concrete proofs of the results, and that's exactly what consumers and clients are expecting from you. And finally, I think it's quite clear, eco-design is not just a technical journey, it's not just about the change of design, but it is really a transformational project. And what it is needed to ensure the transformation will happen is to embed eco-design into the main strategic commitments of the CEO and in the usual processes of tools for product management. So thank you to our guests for sharing their stories. I hope you were inspired. It was quite short, but please feel free to come to us afterwards to continue the conversation.
Okay. Bye-bye.